Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to you the short sticks, but we have a special guest.
We do.
The short stick / chef it up.
Hey guys.
Hello.
So the challenge has been answered, and we literally just finished the cook-off, as we should say. How did you find the cook-off?
I was actually scared. I don't know why I was doubting myself on the way here, and I was listening to your podcast and I was watching my own video and I'm like, this is so annoying. And I was like, oh, it was all right. It was pretty good. It was fun.
That's good. It was a pleasure to have you on board with the cook-off, and let's just reintroduce ourselves. My name is Mustafa Krayem.
Oh, he's doing an intro today. What's going on?
Wow.
He's been practicing all week.
I think he's taking it to the next level because we have a special guest today.
And plus all her fans and followers and those who follow the recipes as well would be curious, who are the short sticks? So my name is Mustafa Krayem, also known as M2.
Two, technically, yes.
And
thanks for taking the spotlight. My name is Mustafa Layubi. I'm M1.
well, you're M1, so you're always the number
first.
one. That's
right.
All
right. It's all good.
And Mustafa number 3.
Mustafa Al-Halwani, amazing cook-off that we just had.
Yes.
And I do want to hear from Mariam, the woman herself. How did we go?
You actually went really well. I doubted you when you pulled out the grill because I'm like, how are you going to get a crispy skin? But it was actually really crispy. It was good.
Yeah, so we decided to have a short sticks way of doing the barbecue, and we called it the Coogee burger because the texture in terms
far
of
from
sauces
Bondi.
was not the Bondi burger.
It's down the road from Bondi.
Yeah.
The cheaper road.
That's right. Yeah,
The cheaper side.
The knockoff.
The housing commission side.
hey, but look, let's give credit where credit's due. Before we talk about her amazing
Give yourself a clap.
burger.
Give yourself
I
a
think
clap.
3 of us, we outdid ourselves. Like, we honestly, even though I spoke a lot and talked the talk about how well this burger is going to be, and deep down I'm like, man, I don't want to regret this challenge.
I'll be honest, I was having a conversation with Mustafa Krayem, M2, just before the event. And I was like to him, are we actually having a cook-off against Chef It Up?
And you know what? Graham was probably the most, what do they call it, the most confident human being that I know. He rocks up here today. He was so scared. I've never seen him buckle. I looked at him like, what's going on with your mate? He's buckling.
I'll tell you why I was scared. Because I initially thought that I'm going to spend this week reading up on how to make the best burger.
And you didn't.
And I didn't.
You just rocked up.
And I just rocked up thinking, I'm just going to get it done. And
you thought, how hard could it be?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to do that, I reckon.
Yeah.
No stress.
And then when she came, Chef It Up came with her bag of recipes, and I'm like, oh,
No, let's be
wow.
honest. The nerves started kicking
Yeah.
when she pulled out that knife.
Yeah, no, that's when it was, yeah.
Who comes with their own knife?
Not just
Every chef, oh my God.
Can you tell us more about that knife? Because
It's a Japanese handmade knife. The brand is Shun, and it's so sharp. It's so shiny.
Okay.
Question, do you go
Yeah.
to restaurants with your own knife?
No. But if I'm going to cook anywhere, I always take my own knife.
so
Okay.
you have a background of cooking. Can you
Yeah.
share that with us?
So I'm a qualified chef. I went to a college and did my advanced diploma in commercial cookery, and I got a job from at Moran and did very fine dining for a couple of years. And then I downgraded to a steakhouse because I'm like, I need to learn how to cook a steak.
Oh, I remember that. You told us that.
Yeah. And then I ran my own cafe. So my friend owned it, but I did it all.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were managing the actual cafe?
Yeah, and so I was the chef, and then I got married, had a baby, opened Halal Bob, so that's Australia's first halal baby food company.
Wow.
So we ran that for 3 or so years. I just had a baby, so we've put that on hold. And I was bored, so I opened Chef It Up, and a year or so in, and we're nearly at 40K.
Wow. And here we are after a challenge with the short sticks.
And you know who the biggest winner is? Ala, her husband.
Yeah.
You must,
I think he's the biggest winner.
you must enjoy all the food, eh?
Yeah, there's no loss over there.
So
Yeah.
Does he enjoy it usually, or does he still complain?
he
And
isn't
he's put on
expressing
30
it.
kilos since I married him.
Wow.
He was so skinny, but oh my God.
When she met him, she was like, I have a goal and I'm going to achieve
Do
it.
you know what's funny?
He's
It's
still a good looker, though.
It's such a small world. It was a compliment that I told him, I actually remember you from somewhere, but you were much skinnier.
He's not. But you guys are giving the wrong
No,
connotation.
he's not-
I know, he's not fat, guys.
Not fat, but
He's
as
a
in,
he's a solid
I remember
person.
him as not as a solid, robust person.
Okay, fair enough.
A more, but anyway.
But
and we
you
ended up
guys,
knowing
you
each
guys
other.
are slack because you're sitting here talking about the guy and he's sitting without a microphone. He can't
Yeah, I
respond.
know.
He's laughing.
You're
so
taking
that's what-
advantage of it.
That's why. Anyhow,
I
so
have
you've
a
got
question.
this. You've got this Chef It Up. You've started this Chef
Yep.
It Up. People would love it. Whatever it is, all this stuff happening. Honestly, behind the scenes, do you
Yeah.
have any fails? Like you do this cook off and you go, what the heck happening? That's not getting uploaded.
The thing is, if I cook the whole meal, I videotape everything, put the recipe, and if I can't get a photo, I just won't put it up.
Okay.
Wow.
The photo is the make or break for me.
Right.
If I don't get the photo, then it's not worthy.
I have a question.
Yeah.
But I think to myself every time I go to a fine dining restaurant,
Yep.
why are the portions so small?
Yeah, you would know.
They're so small because you usually have like 4 or 5 courses, and then if you go to a proper restaurant, like a fine dining one, they'll give you bread and little palate cleansers between each course. And then by the time you wait all that time, it's usually enough. I mean, for us, I mean, that's a serving size that we're meant to eat. It's just we think we need like 3 chicken breasts and
Yeah, I guess
all
so.
this sauce.
'Cause what did
and-
they say? Like 2,000 calories or something like
Yeah.
that for a normal human being.
So they make it a smaller serving according to our
Yeah,
dietary
what
intake.
we should be having.
Okay.
And then
and 4 to 5 courses.
Yeah, I've been
60
to like a
60
9
bucks a
course
pop.
one. Like 9 course,
9
and they're all
course.
really small, but like by the end of it, you're so
Well,
full.
Oh, wow.
we once went to a similar restaurant. I don't know what course it was, but I'll tell you what. When the bill came, we
it
decided
was a lot of dollar courses there.
He lost count, but after 4 courses.
after the bill came, we said that was amazing. Thank you, uncle, but don't invite us here again. but on another note, with the whole Chef It Up thing,
Yeah.
what inspired you to keep driving that page? A lot of people who take on or want to take on a hobby, I should say, a lot of them they stop halfway. So what pushed you towards just keeping uploading with your
I
cooking? and
think the positive feedback I got people saying that I saved their marriage, that their husband loves them again because they
wow,
can cook.
mashallah.
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
really good. Or their kids are eating their vegetables because I taught them how to hide it into a pasta sauce. Or just there was so much like positivity that came from it.
Yeah.
I guess some negativity came from it
Of
too.
course.
With anything, if you're on a platform, you're putting yourself out there to be
That's right.
judged. But some days I just like throw my phone away because there's like 2,000 messages. I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. And then they send
man.
you question marks and you're like, oh my God. I think I found it harder when because I got a 6-month-old now and the 5-year-old. I think when I had the baby, it was just, it's so hard to balance.
It became very overwhelming.
Yeah.
So how many
You know
requests?
what's, sorry, man. You know what's nice? Before I forget, she uploads stuff on her page, and I'm like, oh, this is a nice menu. My wife comments on her page. I'm like, this is nice.
You say that a lot when she's in front of you. Hey, this looks very nice.
So this becomes like a menu because you don't know what to tell. So, for example, your wife asks you, "What do you want to eat today?" I don't know what I want to eat, man.
Let's
I don't know
scroll through
this
Chef
stuff.
It Up's page.
I'm an electrician by trade. What do you want your lights?
It's actually interesting because my sister, I was telling her the other week that we called out Chef It Up, etc. We all know what happened, and she said, "Oh, Chef It Up." I'm like, "Yeah," and she's very private on Instagram, but one of the pages she follows is your page, and she was telling me, I didn't even have to look at your website for your biography. She told me the whole rundown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was so fascinated with your hardships. So she was telling me that you had a few hardships that you overcame to get to where you are now, and it wasn't all rosy and
Yeah, of
rainbows and
course
all
not.
that.
I think being a woman in a chef industry, there's not very many of them, and then wearing a scarf as well is. I
for
think when I
sure.
worked at Aria, I was one of like 5 or 6 women in a kitchen of 40,
Wow.
and I was the only one that wore a scarf. I was the only Arab there, and everyone else was so like. Not Arab, not Arab, and they had so many questions for me, and they called me the Arab girl. And I've never had a job in my life. As like when I started my college, I had to do hours, so I decided to apply for like the most prestigious restaurant in Sydney Harbour, and I got accepted.
Oh,
Wow.
And then I've never worked a day in my life, and my first shift was 16 hours, and I was back the next day. So
Wow.
8 hours later for another 16 hours, and the next day 8 hours later for another 16 hours, and I literally went into the bathroom. I was on the ground of the toilet massaging my feet and crying because I couldn't believe how anyone could
How
do this.
strenuous
You
it
must
was.
have been very overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think I was like 17 or 18 maybe at the time.
Man.
Do you find like those challenges that you experienced at a young age shaped you to who you are today?
Yeah, definitely. It broke me, but it's the chef I am today, and I love the adrenaline and the stress of the kitchen.
And is there is it seriously like what Gordon Ramsay makes it out to be? People screaming out at each other.
You usually have like
swearing
a
at each other.
really nice head chef. Like there was one that was really nice, and then there was one that he'd be like, "Where's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't give it to me." He's like, "Don't lie to me." And I'm like, "I'm not lying."
Oh, wow.
So they're really blunt.
So it can be very, very strenuous.
I'll get
in
so
the-
Yeah.
offended. If someone tells me don't lie to me, I don't know if I'll shove him.
But
Yeah.
that's what I think. It's part of the actual trade. So
I think there's so much stress on the guy, and his expectations are so high. He wants to deliver.
so the dynamic is there's a head chef
There's
and he
actually-
manages the rest. Is that right?
Yeah, what's the dynamic? There's head chef, executive chef. What the heck's the
There's
difference?
a lot of there's like the sous chef and there's saucier, and then you've got like your the people who come in who are training, and then you've got your kitchen hand, and there's so many levels. And it's like the amazing thing about the kitchen, because to make one dish, you've got someone on the sauce, you've got
Wow,
someone
so
on the
many
vegetables,
elements.
Oh, it's like a
there's
line.
someone on the grill, there's someone doing the sides, and then there's the head chef at the pass that's not going to let that plate go out unless it's perfect.
When you say the pass, is that where he
the pass
intercepts
is,
the
yeah,
plate?
is where he looks at that plate, and then if he's happy, he'll hand it over.
So it is like the movies.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Okay,
He's
so-
like the 5'8", the
you know-
playmaker. He gets the ball.
You know that movie? I can't remember what it's called, Burnt Up or something. And it's a movie about some chef that he's won this star or something.
Yeah.
And in the actual movie, they portray chefs to be, live a strenuous lifestyle, like you're mentioning. But they made it out as if the head chef has the most stress and he's the shot caller. Everyone's saying something. They're all like, yes,
Yeah.
chef, yes, chef.
Like he'll be calling out, like, I need, where's the beans? 2 minutes on the beans, and everyone's
so
just
like that, exactly.
Yeah, it's
so
like that.
It is like that. 2
Yeah.
minutes on this, you have a minute to
we've
do
got
this.
2 minutes before we need, table 7 up.
But throughout the days, like if you had been working there for about 3 months, does it become routine based, or do surprises eventuate without you realizing?
When I was working at Aria, I was working at the catering side. So I was working in the Opera House. So we had the marquee, and we did events for like TEDx. There was like 6,000, 5,000 events, like people in the event. So we have to cater for that. So I'd be standing in the same spot sometimes, peeling the same quail egg for like 6 hours straight. And that quail egg was soft.
And it's
so
so
I'm
little.
like trying not to like break it.
Have you seen quail eggs?
No.
Don't they have a new technology? You can just drop the egg in there, comes out. It's
Have you seen
The
them?
shells off?
They poke a hole in one side and they go.
Are you serious? Oh yeah, I've seen those videos.
Why is that on the other side?
I actually just took it upon myself to research that quail egg, and
You've never seen the quail egg, man.
it's so small now.
Lebas love the quail.
Have
Yeah.
you seen the video of the guy? They boil the egg and then they put it in a container. So what they do is they shake the container, and when they
Oh, it
stop,
comes out of
the
mash.
shells off, and yeah.
You should
So
try
maybe
that
you
with a
should
quail
try-
egg.
Right, but it's like an Easter egg. Like it's that small.
Wow.
Tiny
And then
little
when you
thing.
do it a soft boil, so you cook it for like 2 minutes, not even, put it straight into an ice bath so it stops cooking. And then you've got to be so careful that you don't break the white, because then the yolk is going to come out. So annoying. I think I broke like 40.
Well, you're
There's
probably
been some fails.
you're probably a professional at it now and can
Yeah,
do
I
it with
can
your
do it.
eyes
I can do
closed.
it.
So that's where it comes. The strife turns into
Yeah.
experience, and you grow as a chef.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Where did Chef It Up come from? The actual
The name.
the name. How did you wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to start Chef It Up?
I thought about opening the page for a year or two before I actually did. I always doubted myself, like, oh yeah, is my food actually nice, or does it just look pretty? So I just kept saying no, whatever. And then I was like, I had nothing to do, so I'm like, I'm just gonna make my private page public. And then I wanted a name, and I thought about it for like 3 months, and I wanted something chef but classy, and I wanted people like the modern housewife to be able to chef it up, like create meals that are chef quality in your own home. So that's why.
And do you walk around with that camera at home? The one in the photo?
Yeah, I do.
'Cause
I
I see this big ass camera.
the camera, I take all my food upstairs because like it's a perfect lighting. So I'm like walking up the stairs with the plate, and then I go take the photo because I know 4 o'clock is the perfect lighting. I know exactly which part of the room to take it in.
I want to touch on that. You said that one of your main motivations to open the page was for all the mums at home to cook restaurant quality food.
Yep.
And that it's very important, because with the takeaway these days, a lot of it is unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I've seen your desserts and your food and the way you cook and how you present your food. The parents that can take what you do at home,
Yeah.
it's amazing that they can cook restaurant quality food without ordering takeaway, just from a page.
And you know why that's also a nice thing? It keeps the home alive, the kitchen alive. Something's
sure.
happening. The kids are used to, eating at home, not relying so much on takeaway. And when you think about it, majority of takeaway is frozen.
Yeah.
It's re-cooked.
Yeah.
So it's not obviously it's not the best for us and our kids. So something like that, inspiring, mothers and fathers, because there are a lot of fathers that cook also, not just mothers.
Yeah.
So this is important, especially in our community. So I think that's a thank you from the Short Sticks on behalf of the community. I guess.
Unofficial, thank you.
Yeah.
Are your wives cooking my food?
Yeah, you're getting the menus and everything. But keep it up. Keep up the good work. I went on your blog actually,
Yeah.
and I saw the photo of what that coconut passion though.
Yeah,
Oh,
seen
yeah.
that.
Have you seen that?
What is that?
I feel like my
Why
my
didn't you bring a
weakness
few of them?
is dessert. So I
Yeah.
was like, you know what, I'm gonna try the most hardest complex dessert. So I can, and I did. It took me 2 days because I had to freeze the middle and then make this mirror glaze, and it had to be at a certain temperature. And I had like so many layers inside, and I made my
Wow.
own jelly and all these
Is
elements.
that the coconut passion dough?
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
cut it
Cream,
open,
I'm telling you, do not challenge her.
No,
For a
I'm telling
coconut
you. I'm telling you from now.
They know that I'll just buy my desserts.
I'm not a dessert person. Like I don't really like to eat sweet as it is. Like I like my savory, but it's so much science that goes into making something like that. Like the mirror glaze has to be at 34 degrees, and then you have to pour it over something frozen. And I had that like with the food thermometer, making sure everything was right. Straight back into the freezer, pull it out.
feel like you're doing a chemistry experiment.
Yeah, it is.
The food thermometer, you just stick it into all the food.
I've got one that's a laser, so I can just point it
No.
at it and tell
Yeah.
me the temperature.
Since
No.
you said
Yeah, we use that similar things on switchboards for test
Wow.
the temperature.
since you said food thermometer, I love my meat. We all know that I love cooking meat.
Yep.
I need your advice. Am I cooking it the right way? What's the best way to cook meat?
Always bring it to room temperature. So leave your meat out of the fridge for like 2 to 3 hours before, because then you're going to get an even cook. Because if it's cold, the outside's going to go really hot, and then the middle is still going to be cold from your fridge. So leave it out.
Yeah.
Leave it out all day if you want.
look at
Like
his
there's no
smile.
issue with it.
Look how happy he is.
I always
Can you tell him his meat is cooked
No, she did
in a
already.
very bad way?
No. She told me that it was cooked awesome.
it's cooked
Be
awesome.
honest. Because if you say it's good, he'll sleep
you
off
know-
the baby
it's
today.
good
You know,
meat,
say
it's
it's
good
bad.
meat.
But
he's
you
not
know what,
gonna sleep.
You'll come on. We have to give him credit where it's due.
Yeah.
We've had his food. It's amazing.
Well, if you
Yep.
spend $6,000 on meat for the past 2 months,
But look, let me tell you something very important. After that tip, it's going to taste even nicer.
Wow.
'Cause I
Yeah.
did not know you
it
can
makes
leave
sense
it all day.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
not
didn't
all
know.
day. 3 hours.
No, you can leave it out all day.
all day.
Haven't you seen when they dry age meat? They
Yes.
dry age meat for 6 months.
That's right. I've seen it. Yeah.
what is that? So this is-
It's they hang it and then they at a controlled temperature, and then they dry age it so that basically the meat is starting to decompose. So they cut off the outside and then you eat it, and it's so soft and the flavor's so developed.
Wow.
If you've ever eaten dry aged meat,
I
it's
have
something
once,
else.
Yeah.
I've been seeing these on Instagram. All these Wagyu things on the Japanese ones.
Yeah.
And this grass-fed Wagyu beef, it just looks like a little marble
That's
piece.
right. Yeah. Okay, so leave it out for a few hours or all day if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, all day. I always start my meat in a really hot pan, so I let it smoke. It's just about to start to smoke, and then I put it in, then I bring it down because I want that crust.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I always rest my meat. You have to.
Is that the
rest your
searing
meat.
phase?
Yeah, if I'm searing it like on a pan, I'll bring the pan up really, really high, put it on, and then bring it down. Because by the time it comes down, I've already got the crust on there.
I think that's what the pan's for. So you can't do that on the barbecue.
Or I've got a pan to use for the barbecue, but I
Yeah.
haven't taken it out yet.
How come you've never cooked for us with
Well,
it?
after this advice, I think I will take it out.
Yes. And it's really important to rest your meat, even undercook it by a little bit, because as you rest it in that foil, it's
It
going to
still
continue
cooks.
cooking a
Wow.
little bit.
And I've seen that they put the rosemary and the garlic on the pan
Yeah.
with the meat besides it.
I would do that at the end. So when your steak is about 70% there, add a knob of butter in, and then add your garlic and just crush it a little bit. Don't crush it.
Okay.
And then throw the rosemary and just keep basting over the meat.
You know what? I'm going to get you to squeeze something out of him that I've wanted for a while.
Okay.
Can you ask him on the podcast what his secret ingredient is?
What's your secret?
Hasn't he
marinade?
gloated on it?
Yeah,
onto Instagram?
I'm really curious.
Have you revealed all your secrets on your page?
Yeah, I have actually.
Okay. Look, it's nothing fancy, but
Okay.
See,
there's-
she's so caring and she wants to share with her followers
Yeah.
how she looks food.
She wants
Unlike-
to share
unlike
for
you,
the
my
people
friend.
she cares about.
You,
Okay.
you want to keep it to yourself. He sent me the photo of it, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, all
So
I
he
had,
didn't make it
No, no.
because I like a couple of days after I like made this amazing marinade, and my husband can
he
vouch
didn't
for
make
it.
it.
Those lamb ribs and that marinade was like,
No,
whoa.
he does
it-
mix it
I
into
was
make,
it-
but there's a secret sauce,
Okay.
let's call it. All I had to do, I get him, what's the sauce? Honestly, he goes, I'm not giving it to you. Then I get him, I don't want it anymore. Then he sends me a photo of it.
because he sent me a photo of the meat,
Yeah.
and he wrote, "What's the sauce?"
Reverse psychology. It's all I had to do.
And he gave me his pouty eyes. I had
did
to
it.
give
I
him-
was-
Gave in.
I can't. But look, what I do is there's the brand Morrow.
Okay.
This isn't a plug for Morrow, by the way. I don't know anyone that works there. There's out of all the vinegars, it's called the dry aged balsamic vinegar.
Okay.
It's a short one.
Yep.
and with that one, it's dry aged,
Okay.
and I mix it
What's
with
dry aged, Graham?
So compared to the normal vinegar, no,
Do you want me to jump in?
he can jump in and explain what dry aged.
They usually age
put
it
the
in like a
vinegar.
barrel, and then
Yeah.
over time, with anything over time,
just-
it matures and it develops in
There you
flavor.
go.
So it's aged much rather than after
It's
it's ready to
aged,
go,
for
they
sure.
put it in the bottle and they sell it. It's not as fresh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it develops in flavor.
So
Yeah.
usually things that are aged, they have develop a sour taste, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it would be it is quite sour.
It
yeah,
is.
it is. So
So you don't mix anything with
no,
it?
so I put
No,
all
he
the
does, he
balsamic
does.
vinegar in the bowl, and I mix salt, pepper, and I have this American spice
Yeah.
flavoring. I put that in. I mix it all together. Then I put the cutlets. Then I put another. So the whole 250 mil is emptied
Okay.
Wow.
on my cutlets. Yeah,
So
and
it
I
doesn't-
And
marinate
how
it
long
for
do you marinate it for?
24 hours.
It's a big
Do you
timer.
feel like the vinegar cooks it because the acidity?
It does, but after 24, I feel like after longer than 24 hours,
Yeah.
the cutlets they soak it in that much
Yeah.
where it becomes too hard to cook,
Okay.
and it might get burnt quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So it's cooked pretty much.
yeah, so 12 to 24 hours is plenty of time.
So that's the prime time.
Yeah.
yeah, no longer than 24
That's
hours.
from experience. You got to remember
Yeah.
that's after barbecue and a good
You
thousand.
know what?
thousand cutlets.
He has cooked. I think I can confidently say up to date hundreds of pieces of meat.
Yeah, hundreds.
I'll tell you why. Yeah, I love my food, and all I knew was making eggs.
Okay.
and being with my mother, I just didn't want her to cook for me anymore.
Yeah.
Because she's at an age. There's no need for her to just cater
He,
for me.
he thought
Yeah.
around the 30 mark is. It's
no,
enough.
not
It's
that
time
old.
to become a man.
No,
It's time to look good.
not
It's
that
time
old.
to stop saying, "Mum, can you make me a sandwich?"
I'm not that old.
Almost up the road.
But then I thought, ever since I bought the char grill, I
Yeah.
realized why can't I have fun with cooking?
Yeah, it is fun. Like
Yeah.
make it your own.
I didn't realize that you can actually have so much fun cooking
Yeah.
and experimenting.
Yeah.
And you know, cooking isn't hard.
No,
It's honestly, it's not. I know I make it out to be very difficult on purpose.
No,
So
we have to do
I don't
is
have
shake.
to cook, but it's not hard.
We have to shake that pan.
You just gotta,
Shake it left and
I
right.
feel like it's an art though.
yeah.
It becomes like an art form.
And then once you get to know what you're doing, you
Yes.
just know. You know when that pan is ready. You don't
Exactly.
need to go and touch it
Wow.
anymore.
That's me just with my meat and eggs.
Yeah.
And
You know what? Though, just touching on what you said, that the art form. I don't usually cook, but if I ever make something like when I made the burger,
yeah.
I felt so invested
I seen
in
you.
what I made.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be perfect.
That's why I
Yeah.
gave you the knife and told you cut it because I seen he was in that
Yeah.
zone that he
Yes.
gets in. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, you cut. I whispered to him, cut
so
the
it's
knife.
nice. Like I think everyone should try it if you don't cook or
Oh, man.
if you haven't cooked,
I tried
try
it. I tried it last
I
night.
think it's a life skill.
Yeah.
Like you need to learn how to
Did
cook.
you see on her page? Did you see my French toast?
Yeah, I did, and I saw that you were making the steak. The steak would look so nice.
Did you make that yourself?
The French toast? You
Zero,
serious?
come on, tell
You're
us.
doubting me right now.
I'll be honest with you. When you put French toast, I'm like, wow.
You know,
Nura cooked up a
not
storm.
only, not only French toast, extremely low calorie, extremely high in protein.
Wow.
Man, top notch French toast.
Nice.
I woke up in the morning with salad.
Look, you've inspired not only your followers but the short sticks.
the husbands of your followers.
And even now,
Actually, my husband, all his workers, they all follow me and their wives. So they go, "Oh, she's making that today, so my wife will cook that tomorrow."
because you do run out of ideas, especially in
Yeah.
Ramadan. In Ramadan, you run out of ideas
Yeah,
of what
it's
to cook
hard.
every
You
day.
can't cook the same
Ramadan?
thing.
It came out very,
Very white.
Australian.
Yes,
Very white.
Ramadan.
Because we're used to saying it to the non-Arabic speakers.
Yeah.
You can still tell them Ramadan.
Oh, but they say, "What is that?" So you put the accent.
When they hear in the accent, they can understand it immediately.
Yeah.
It's like when I speak to my parents, I have to go into this Asian sort of.
You know what? I want to ask you and be
Yeah.
honest with us.
Okay.
Have you been listening to our podcast?
I actually have. I'm up to number 10. I finished 10 in the car all
Wow.
the way here.
Nice.
So you must have
Yeah.
heard the ending of number 10.
Yeah, when you were like challenging me to the car.
Yeah, I hope that really rolled up the nerves before you got
I was
here.
just sitting in the car like, okay. And then I like doubted myself, so I like went on to my highlights. And I'm like, okay, what did I do again?
So when you're listening to our podcast, are you ever cooking when you're listening? How do you listen to them?
In the car, always in the car
Okay.
when I'm driving. And if I'm like sitting down doing my makeup or something, I would just be like listening to the podcast in the background.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we're not going to ask you which one's your favorite podcast.
Okay.
It's going to be quite difficult because there's 10 of them.
Because you all sound the same.
Yeah.
How long into the podcast were you able to differentiate who's who? Because we get
I think
that
she
a lot.
could.
Honestly, I just know you, Graham, and that's it.
You know what he says? I kid you not. He walks around in public. He says, "My podcast." He gets the people. Oh yeah, I'm going to record my podcast. This is my podcast. This is my podcast. He talks to people. That's how he is.
You
all
know
day.
why? Because you go somewhere and it's not like it happens often, but they say, "Oh, we've heard the podcast."
Yeah.
So genuine.
And even if they haven't, he'll make sure to inform them.
Yeah.
Have you heard my podcast?
So when you first advocate, I'll say mine because if
Yeah.
I say ours and I'm by myself, they say who with who, and then
Where are they?
explain
They're
it,
going to pop out of your left and
No,
right.
there's no need, man. There's no need.
So-
No need for us.
No, he did say he's going to start his own podcast.
He
Just
did.
so you know.
Yeah, I know. I heard
So
that one.
don't be surprised if you open Instagram tomorrow and there's a page called Crayem Up. And I'll be
Very
like,
much. Actually, you know how many people have used my name, like carve it up,
speaking
played
of
it up,
that-
and I'm like, come on, guys.
Well, that's so all the banter. What drama does your Instagram come with? Because a lot of people will try to imitate what you're doing.
I don't mind people imitating what I'm doing because at the end of the day, it means more people are learning how to cook. I guess you get criticized for what do I get criticized for? So much. Like I sell a cleaning product and occasionally I have it on there. Apparently, that's wrong. It's like I built the audience, so I'm not allowed to sell to it.
It's, I
Apparently,
don't know what's wrong with these people. It's like they think, if you're
You're
a social
entitled,
influencer,
yeah.
it's like, you can't make money anymore.
Yeah.
No, everyone needs to live. Who cares?
Yeah.
I like that you're happy with other people looking at your recipes and reproducing
Yeah,
them.
of course.
It's very important because a lot of people don't understand that just because you made a certain recipe,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that if people do the same recipe and show it, that it's an issue. If anything, it should make you more proud of what you
For
did
sure.
Yeah.
because you were the one to sort of cook it in that sort of way, and I'm sure that would give you a lot of confidence in your own cooking.
That's good.
But I guess there's a fine line between copying what you've done
Yeah.
because they like what you did to actually copying your name
Oh, and saying
Yeah.
that they did it.
Yeah.
or making stories up about you. But like
I've got this original recipe.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's hard, and unless you really, really love to cook, because the taping as you're going and then doing the recipe and taking that photo and then writing up the recipe and then posting it,
Full-time job.
it's so much work. It takes it might
and you've
take
got-
me 20
you've got
minutes,
the
but it
blog
takes
as
3
well.
hours, and then I have to upload it on the blog, and I pay someone to do that for me because I can't be bothered. So like, unless you really invest your time to and you really love to
Wow.
It's
cook,
not worth it.
if you start Instagram because you want to be Insta famous, as a lot of people are doing these days, then you're not going to get anywhere. Because I started Instagram, I was so happy when I had 100 followers. I'm like, wow, 100 followers in a room. They're like 100 people in a room following me. What the
What
hell?
does that remind you of when we had 100 followers?
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, like
Feel so
100
famous.
followers.
Yeah, now we have thousands upon
I'd like to dream. We have a listener in America.
But what's the funniest comment you've just at top of your head? What's the funniest comment?
something funny that you've experienced as a chef.
As a chef or with the page?
Both.
What did you mean?
Comment
with-
on the page.
Oh, on the page, okay.
Someone made my garlic, my pumpkin soup, and then when I made it, I roasted the garlic, so I sliced them in half and the whole bowl of the garlic. And then I was also doing the video, I was squeezing it out, but they didn't squeeze out. They put the whole thing in the skins and blister, and they said, "I don't know what's going on, but it's so grainy." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's so grainy? There's a video there." So now every time I do garlic, I'm like, I'm squishing it out of the skins. We don't use the skins.
Oh, you have to actually explain what you're doing.
Yeah,
Sometimes they might miss
sometimes,
an
yeah.
integral
So hang on,
step.
that person ate garlic skin.
Yeah, and they
Oh,
ate it because
no.
it tasted
Oh.
nice, and they didn't want to throw it out.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
Wow.
There's a bit of crunch in
Uh,
there.
for that second, because I do also want to know, do you have any, like as a chef, are there anything that just funny things that happen? Or
When
is
I
it just all
first-
serious?
No, when I first started cooking, when I first started using gas cooking, I think I was like 12 or 13, and I was making a steak, so I heated up the pan, and a 12-year-old, as if you're going to know that if you spray a gas bottle near the flame, the whole kitchen blows up.
Oh, oh, no.
That happens.
Oh, no.
And I remember doing it, like my whole family turned around, and I was just like, everything's on fire, like the tea towel, and it it was so funny.
That happened to me the other day. I got
Yeah.
the olive oil spray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. I had the pan on the fire and the thing
it's
went up in flames.
crazy.
Do that on the
I'm
barbecue
like,
as well.
snap, you're supposed to do this, then put the pan
Yeah.
on.
As
This
if you
guy
know.
does it straight on the fire.
Yeah,
But that's different. It's
on
not
the
gas.
char grill.
Yeah.
So
Does it do the same thing?
yeah, same thing.
Light
But
up?
because the char grill's got the lid, the fire just goes up.
See
and
how
you-
he-
Yeah.
Do you feel like a chef because the
see-
things
yeah.
went up in flames?
See how when he mentions char grill, he says it with so much
Char
Oh,
Yeah.
I take pride in that.
He's
little
so
tug.
proud. The char grill.
He slows it down and
Oh,
we
look,
named the podcast after his barbecue, just so you know.
On the down low, I had a conversation with your husband, and
Yeah.
I can't wait till he gets that particular barbecue.
He keeps talking about this barbecue. I'm like,
He's
okay.
gonna cook the best tomahawk and send me
Okay.
a photo. Don't forget.
No,
Look-
you mean he's going to invite the short
Yeah,
sticks?
we'll invite you over.
Absolutely. With another question I have, with reaching over, or you can say self-proclaimed thousands of followers, which you do have, unlike what I say, you must get with the positivity, which
Yeah.
is normal, a lot of negativity. How do you deal with that?
I think I ignore it. I mean, there's some people where I'll put a poll up saying, "Oh, you know, how'd my lamb go?" And I'll get like 2,000 yes, it's amazing, and then 6 say no, and then I like click on all of them, and none of them are following me.
You should
And I'm
actually
like,
say no.
But how do you find me? Like, how do you find my page to vote no? How do you
This
know when
person-
I've got a poll up?
This person goes out of their way to
Yeah.
say no.
And then I'll just block, and then the same page with like a different spelling is there the next week, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna screen record and just put this up and tag them.
Oh, man, it's like no one's knocking on
You
the door
know-
telling them, have a look at this, you have to follow it, you have
Yeah.
to copy it.
That's the thing
Why
with
don't you go
social
away?
media. Social media, you find that there's a lot of people who, for whatever reasons, have a hidden agenda, and they want to be so negative,
Yeah.
especially towards success.
Not only that, you know, with social media, we've got this now in this fad where everyone thinks their opinion matters now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Your opinion
I think that's
Give
been,
it to yourself,
I think
man.
that's
You're
been
no
around
one.
for a while.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now with the social media, it's even more.
I think
'cause
when you have a
everyone
platform-
voices it.
You have a voice, and sometimes people use their platform to spread hate, or they speak without actually having any knowledge on what
Yeah,
they're talking
that's
about,
right.
and they end up offending a lot of
That's
people.
right.
So you got to be really careful. Even some of my, like, if I had a certain view, I wouldn't even let it come out, because how many of my followers would disagree with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be a dividing opinion where you just
Yeah.
keep to yourself.
I'm here to cook.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll give you my opinion on the kitchen.
You know, it's in this sort of day and age now on Instagram and social media, a lot of people are giving their opinions
Yeah.
all the time. But when it comes to your sort of niche,
Yeah.
do you ever give your opinion about a certain meal when you work at a restaurant? Say, you know, let's add this and change the menu a little bit, or you can't do that in your sort of line of work?
When I'm cooking on my page or in a restaurant?
In a restaurant.
We have times where we used to like come up with like how to change the menu, and we'd always have something seasonally. So there always is room for improvement.
Okay. So
And
you do
yeah,
come
you
across a
can.
dish and you might tell the head chef, look, let's try this.
Yeah, you
Okay.
definitely can. Yeah,
And it works.
yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a video of the Italian chef.
Which one?
They were doing like, I don't know if you've seen it, doing a morning show. I don't know what show. And they were doing like a pizza or a pasta, something like that. Some Italian dish.
Yeah.
And she added, it was pasta. And the lady added ham or something like that into the pasta.
Oh, yeah. What was it? I know what you're talking about.
He lost it on live television.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he goes, no, you don't put that there.
Yeah.
You don't put this there.
Well, a lot of chefs are very passionate.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
he got
They're
offended.
artists.
He's like, how dare you put that in there?
Yeah.
It doesn't belong there.
Yeah, it won't make sense to them. So, since you've reached the position that you have already, with a lot of hard work, do you constantly evolve with new goals or moving forward, or you just continue doing what you do?
I continue doing what I'm doing, but like my ultimate goal is to bottle up something, to have a cookbook, to teach people how to cook. I'd love to have
awesome.
one-on-one cooking classes.
So you're trying to turn Chef It Up into a brand.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
do. There's a couple of new restaurants and stuff and shops that I'm working with to collaborate with. And I'll put my own recipe and then they'll put it on the menu. So
Wow,
I think
that's excellent.
it'll become something one day.
Yeah.
But
that's
we're going to
excellent.
see, hopefully, a Chef It Up restaurant that we can go to.
I don't know if I want to do a restaurant, to be honest.
I guess that's
Yeah,
a,
like
Maybe
a lot
it's
of
a
people like,
long-term goal.
yeah, do you want to cater? But I don't want to give you my food. I want to teach you how to cook my food. So
Yeah.
you can cook it.
That's
Why,
very
should you,
nice.
why should you pay $25 for a prawn linguine when you can make it for 11?
What
Yeah.
about a culinary school? Is that how they say it?
Yeah, the culinary school. My cousin opened up a culinary
oh
school.
man, imagine that.
Yeah.
A culinary school for hijabis.
Yeah,
for-
they actually
for
contacted me
That's
to
awesome.
be the head chef for them, but I was like 30 weeks pregnant, and I couldn't
Who-
commit to it.
Bash
Bash,
contacted you?
yeah,
Let him know.
Yeah.
I'll speak to him. Maybe you can collaborate, doing a
Yeah.
little course.
yeah, no, it'd be good.
With your cooking book, did you ever think of doing something for little kids, like a mini cookbook? Or was it more for mothers?
I think
and
it's more for mothers,
women?
but
Yeah.
I guess I'd expand as I go.
That's a really nice idea. I'd like to see my children, you know, testing out what they can do with food, and obviously not throwing it away, but just understanding that this food is to
Yeah.
be cooked and they can value the food that they make.
through cartoon images or something like that.
Nah, have you seen? But it's sad.
Yeah. So you can. What the book be called? The Chef It Up book. Or,
You're
I
putting
don't
her
know.
under
I
pressure
haven't really
now.
thought about it yet.
Putting her-
all these ideas in my head
Yeah,
now.
I have
everything
so many
because-
ideas.
I think he's trying to push the business ideas into your
At
mind.
this point, I have like 6 business ideas that are all pending, and I just need to know which one to
It's
go
true,
with.
yeah. But it's amazing to see how you've evolved. So from getting that college degree
Yeah.
to working in a high-end restaurant, and then the business that you had to put on hold,
Yeah.
and now the page. It's
You know,
amazing. And
one question we didn't ask now that you're saying through all those transitions is, what pushed you to become a chef? What pushed you to? Is it the love for food, or you just honestly you woke up and you said, you know, I want to try this and see how I go? So how did it work? So for other people that might be aspiring to be
I think
chefs.
I've always loved to cook, but Mum had a car accident when I was 7 or 8. She broke a collarbone.
Okay.
And then when they operated, they broke it again. So she was out of action for like a good 2 years.
Whoa.
Okay.
So she'd be like, "Oh, Miriam, get the pot out, cut the onion, add this, add that." And then after maybe like 10, I knew what I was doing. I didn't need her there
Oh, wow.
anymore. And I just remember making bolognese and adding all this stuff to it and
Oh wow.
seeing what worked, what didn't, and then
There you
doing
go.
hospitality in high school, and then doing it in my HSC, and then I knew straight away I wanted to go and do become a chef.
Wow.
So I've always loved to cook. It's
But you know,
just
that's nice. So you got pushed in it. You were forced
Yeah,
to get yourself
forced
into
So
it.
one thing led to another, and
Yeah.
before she knew it, you were
You know
cooking.
what? Now, mashallah, he see her child. He's always there. He's the scribe. He's the little chef. He's little Gordon Ramsay. The thing.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe he'll take the torch and open up
that's
his
what
own
happens.
restaurant
So
one
you
day.
see them. So the way you act at home, they follow you. So you
Yeah.
get, for example, my wife. My children sit there. They think they're the biggest gardeners in the world. They're spreading soil everywhere.
a question that we didn't ask you,
Yeah.
I have to put it out there. Your husband must love your food.
yeah, he does, but he doesn't eat seafood.
Oh,
And I
what?
like-
Seafood.
I wish I knew
Didn't we
that.
put that question
before
out? I was
signed
sure we
contract.
put that question out there at the beginning.
No more than bay bugs.
Yes, we did. Thanks for listening, guys.
Like I'll make like a crab curry and like
I gotta agree with you,
a
man.
whole lobster, like a garlic lobster and like
I'm not a
sea
seafood
scallops
guy.
and
Yeah, go
I'll do a
start, start.
feast.
Go,
I was
Balish.
just
And then
asking him.
he's like, "Oh, I'm not hungry." And I'm like, don't lie to me. Just tell me you don't like it.
I bet you say, have you cooked any meat? Yeah. I bet you say, have you cooked any meat?
Yeah, steak. Every time I go past them in the bay, they're like, take this. I'm like, I can't. I'll get a divorce if I bring another fish home.
Now, fish I'm okay with. Everything else.
He doesn't like fish at all.
No fish? You've had the wrong fish, man.
Yeah. And he doesn't like the eyeball. Like, he can't see the eyeball.
But all that chewy stuff, no.
Eyeball, no one eats eyeball.
No one eats it, but are you going to get
Can't
turned
see
off
it,
if there's
yeah.
a whole fish on the table with an eyeball?
My son loves the eyeball. He always wants to
I'm
touch it.
surprised you're
Yeah.
not touching on this. With your mornay and your garlic and your...
If I start now, I
Guys,
won't stop.
No, no,
No, please stop him.
I'll
Please stop
tell you
him at the
something that
beginning.
actually happened. Speaking of Mena Bay, I bought the Moreton Bay bugs yesterday. I was sitting your husband, and I'm thinking that I'm going to do this whole Lugano fancy bugs. I take him home. I stare at them. I put them on the gas oven top, whatever. I get the knife after I defrosted them. I'm trying to cut it through, and it wouldn't work.
Did you cut from the bottom?
I don't know
Soft
where I
side?
cut from. It just wouldn't work.
So the knife wouldn't go through.
No, then
I think you
before
needed the shun knife.
Before I slept, my mum screams out, "What do you want to do with these Moreton Bay bugs?" Because I promised her I'm going to cook her this amazing seafood dish. I seen Ahmed the next day. I told him, "How do you cut these things?"
Yeah.
He told me to cut them from the bottom.
Cut it from the bottom, then usually get like kitchen scissors and cut the bottom shell. Same with the lobster.
Is when you the bottom, that tail.
The bottom
you
is
mean?
all, like upside, like
Oh,
the
the
bottom,
stomach,
like,
the-
because it's
the-
really
okay.
soft. Because their shell is to protect them, so it's like
Okay.
hard.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there trying to do that.
Turn it around.
I did, but I just gave up.
Sitting there with a butter knife.
No, I got the thick. I need to buy a special knife.
You
from,
need to buy
like,
a
the
shun.
Japanese- The what's it called?
A shun
Is
knife.
that shun? Yeah.
But take care of it. Don't put it in the
You-
dishwasher. Do you know how to sharpen a knife?
Yeah,
You know what you just did? What you've just done is this guy's going to go tomorrow, spend $1,000 on one knife.
How much do they cost?
He's going to top up your knife.
I got that in a set with 5 others. I think it was 1,200.
For one set or one
No,
knife?
for one
Hey,
set.
watch. Graham's going to spend
Yeah.
$1,300 tomorrow.
But sometimes you can buy
1,300.
just one knife that's $1,000 because it's handmade and
Okay,
Yeah.
so just a question
Yeah.
about this shun knife.
yeah.
What makes it expensive? The metal, the
It's
way
Japanese
it's made.
steel and it's handmade, and because they when they're making that overlap the steel so many times that it has such a nice grain through it.
Okay.
And I find that Japanese steel, when you're sharpening it, it's a lot softer, so it tends to have a nicer blade,
Okay.
like an edge on it.
So basically it's aesthetically pleasing
Yep.
and it can be resharpened easily.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
really easy.
you pay this money for this knife that you know you can use
Yeah, you can keep
consistently
using.
and over and for a few years. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay, so look,
So are you gonna buy one tomorrow?
I promised myself that I won't be splurging anymore until I get the Kamado Joe Classic.
So
So
he's not gonna be splurging until he splurges.
Yeah, okay.
because the char grill is only this big, so there's
Is
no
that
point.
a couple of grand?
How
I
much
think
is
it's like
the
1,600.
how
Is
much?
it more?
The
1,600?
Kamado Joe,
Or is it more expensive?
the Kamado Joe, they're in
Hey,
ranges,
watch out,
but
man.
they start at
Because her
1,600.
husband's
Yeah.
here, you don't want to ruin it for him.
I already know how much it is. I was going to gift it to him and he didn't tell me what the brand was. Because like, I don't want you to buy it.
Well, look,
That's a
I'll
nice
gladly
thought.
send you my wish list.
when this barbecue comes home,
Yeah.
you can do so much with it with the searing, and you're a meat specialist.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with it. You can do a 2.5 hour cook
Yeah.
easily. But on the char grill, it's so small, so you can't really cook a tomahawk for that long on it.
Yeah.
Have you ever guys? Did you guys used to ever do the? Have you seen like the Americans, the Texas style, the 24-hour smoking and stuff like that?
No, we never smoked. I've never done anything with smoking, but my brother's a butcher, so he made his own smoke when we were little. So I always like
Okay.
watched him like smoke meat and do small goods, and he's the one that taught me how to I can bone anything because
There
he
you
taught
go.
me how to do everything. That's why, like people see me with my meat and I just know where the bone is. I
Of
know what
course
I'm
you do.
doing.
Yeah.
It's because of my brother.
So when
There
you
you
go
go.
to a butcher, you know exactly.
Oh yeah,
what
I
they're
know when the
selling you.
meat is crappy. Like
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, that's not what you're saying it is.
Oh man, because you go to some butchers, like for example,
Yeah.
you get this wagyu for. Sometimes it's so nice and tender, and you get the
Yeah.
exact same thing from another butcher.
And it's not the same.
You're like, what the
Can
heck
I-
is this?
can
This is
I
a piece of
ask?
rubber.
Because I've had Mustafa to my left, M2, Mustafa Krayim, try and explain the marble score rating to me multiple times.
Yeah,
And I never understood it. All he said to me,
is the
Was-
fat content.
literally, no, not even fat. Oh, he did mention
He
fat
said,
content.
"White."
The white
lines.
the white lines are
The
fat
marbling.
content. Yeah, but
Really
I didn't
marbling.
understand what it really represents. So what is it?
It's they're usually like cows that don't do much, which is why they don't move around. So the muscle is very soft. So the more you like, for instance, if you get a shank, it's so full of flavor, but it's so tough. So you need to cook it for a longer period of time. But the more the cow moves around, the more flavor it has. So with a wagyu, it's it doesn't do much physical work. It just stays in the same
Oh,
spot.
that's
it's
why it's
fed.
so fatty.
And yeah, and it's so fatty. And the higher the fat content, the higher the marbling, the higher, like it's like usually a 9 or a 10.
So it's like, as they say, a prestigious cow that's just
Yeah,
well
even
groomed
in
and all
I think
done.
in Japan there's a very specific type of cow, and I think there's only like a couple hundred
That's
that
the
they
stuff they
have
put on
each
Insta, eh?
season. Yeah, and it is so expensive.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cut out of the wagyu?
To be honest, I'm not really a biggest fan of wagyu. I find that there's just too much fat in it for me. But I can't go past like a Scotch fillet.
Scotch fillet, yeah.
Yeah, it's got enough fat and it's soft, and the
That's
meat
right.
is tender.
I fillet and Scotch fillet.
But
is-
by the way, I
Yeah.
think the term is a lazy cow.
Yeah, it is. It's
is?
a lazy cow.
Yeah, because I think you tried
Some
to
of
say it's like
the
a
ones
queen.
in Japan get massaged and they drink this
Oh,
certain type
no.
of and the
Are you serious?
yeah,
They treat them better than they treat
Yeah.
us.
and like they're like
know-
antibiotic free.
you know what
As soon as you said lazy cow,
Yeah.
I was driving today past
What, you
past
saw a
like
lazy
farm.
cow?
I swear.
You drove
I
past
swear,
one today?
it's not, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I'm looking and I'm like, man, these cows, why are they just sitting down doing nothing?
These are
All of them.
Is there a lot of grass?
And they were in tons of grass.
Yeah,
so
they're
now that I
grass-fed.
think my mind is taking me to, these must be
Wagyu
being
cows.
prepped for Wagyu. So
Yeah,
You know what happened to us a few years ago? I think my son was born. Me and a friend of mine went to the farm.
yeah.
I emptied out my van. He goes, "Let's go buy some sheep." I go, "What do we do with the sheep?" He goes, "I'll just get him. We'll figure it out. We'll take him to the butcher. He'll do all of it." Went and bought 6 sheep, and he had one at home already, so that's 7. I had this sheep in the back of the van. I'm just gonna pull over. 6, 7 sheep in the back of a highways. We drove down. We put them in his house. We brought the butcher. He goes, "What's this? They're so skinny." He goes, "Leave them for a few weeks. Let them eat. They'll
They
grow."
were alive. Wow.
Yeah, a big live sheep. Though I had poo in the back of the van. I had to clean for 3
Oh,
weeks.
God.
Yeah. Anyhow, 2 weeks later, my mate calls me. He goes, "They're gone." I'm like, "What do you mean they're gone?" He goes, "They died." I go, "What do you mean they died?" He goes, "All of them died." I go, "All 6 sheep, or 7 sheep, technically, all of them died."
what did he feed them?
He didn't. The stupid council sprayed weed killer on the side of his fence. They all ate the weed killer. One got sick and dropped dead. The next day, all of them dropped dead. He goes,
Oh my god.
"This isn't Chesterhill." He He goes to me, what I'll do for 7 sheep? I'm not kidding. I go, let me call you back. I turn off my phone.
What do you do with seven sheep?
dead sheep in the middle of just the hill.
Call pest control.
Call the council. The council clean up.
RSPCA.
RSPCA.
Someone left 7 dead sheep in my backyard.
So
Booking the council clean up.
throughout this whole podcast, I'm going to take it back a notch. We
Yeah.
didn't speak about the cook-off.
Okay.
So how did you rate our burgers?
Just
So
say
it's a
what you
really,
want
really
to
nice
hear.
burger. I'm surprised you got such a crispy coating on the grill, to be honest.
Why were you
Yeah.
doubting us?
I
You
was
mentioned-
curious to that,
You've
yeah.
mentioned that twice now. Not just tell us, just like in terms of like your chef skills and knowledge, what made you think it wasn't going to be cooked?
I feel like because the barbecue is so hot, and then is the outside going to cook and then the inside's not
So-
going to cook?
Oh,
Did
so
you
the
set us up
outside
for
cooks
failure?
quick.
No, I didn't tell you to go on the barbecue.
You saw this guy prime the barbecue 40 minutes before.
Yeah, as soon as you guys came, I was like, I'll prime the barbecue from now, and their heads were going, yes.
Were you surprised to see it cooked like that?
Yeah, it was really. I'm surprised that you got such a crispy coating.
You
on
know
the
what I
barbecue.
think it was?
It was a fluke.
So explain how you got that actually.
I think it was because we had 2 sides. We had the flat,
Yeah, you didn't keep a coating
and we
on
had
the grill part.
the barbecue area.
Yeah.
We had olive oil spread all over that, and we kept retopping up with the
Yeah.
olive oil. Dip it into the olive oil, then throw it onto
Yeah.
the barbecue and keep flipping.
Yeah.
So I think that
Yeah, you
break
didn't say
in
it.
between,
Around the liter of olive oil.
yeah,
Got wasted.
probably
We were
7.
talking about healthy eating before we started.
Yeah, olive oil
So
is
a
good.
balanced diet.
Isn't olive oil? Olive oil is good
Yeah,
for
no,
you.
it's
It's
a
fine.
good
Yeah, it is. But don't laugh at me. But this was also a trick that we did.
Oh, here we go.
It was.
He had it on mind before the
So
barbecue.
see the question he asked 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
This was the reason he asked this question. He wanted to get to this point.
So
Go.
Okay.
we closed the barbecue lid,
Yeah.
and the air temperature would increase.
Yes.
So once it got past 150
Oh, it would-
degrees,
the hot air would cook the inside.
Yeah, like the
No.
steam method.
you think I'm mucking around here?
What? This guy's he just researched it now. and he's-
It's because when you do the char grill,
Yeah.
one little barbecue, I
Yeah,
do
he
the same
he
thing.
closes it. He
We
does.
close it and then open
On-
it.
on the
close it,
biggest
and
But you
steaks.
close it to smoke it.
no, but this had a thermometer. Mine
Clack,
doesn't.
Yeah.
clack, clack, clack.
So
He's spinning.
we
now.
have a chef here.
All right.
What do you think? So when we closed
Yeah,
it,
usually when you like want to make something, like if you're doing like sunny side eggs on a pan, you'll
Cover
do
the
the bottom,
pan.
put the lid on, and then
Yes.
it'll cook the rest of
Oh,
the
is
way.
that what it is? You know
I
what
Yeah.
I've been
agree.
doing?
It makes sense. I agree.
What have
with
you been doing?
I'm
just
trying to do
surprised.
sunny side eggs. I put them in and they take ages and the bottom burns and the top
Well, you know what you
doesn't.
can do? You
I didn't know
can
you're supposed to put a lid.
put them in on a medium heat and then finish them in the grill.
Oh, wow.
Just cook that top white part.
You know how many times I start sunny side up and I go, man, this thing's
Yeah, and
gonna
it
burn.
doesn't-
Ends up being scrambled because
Yeah.
stuff this, man.
It's hard. It's
can you
hard.
just repeat that grill thing?
So you can start it on the
Yeah.
stovetop and then do it like a high heat so you get the crisp, and then put it under your grill in your oven, like the element, just to cook the white part.
Well, that's amazing advice. I'm going to take that on board for sure. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of the podcast, but before we go with the podcast in terms of Chef It Up being our guest, I want to ask you, what pushes you to keep moving forward
With cooking on my page,
with both?
I love to cook and I love that I can help people. And I think that the feedback is so positive,
Wow.
and helping so many people cook is just amazing.
And you don't, for those out there, you don't let the detractors pull you back or get you bogged down into a little doubt yourself.
Yeah,
or-
of course not. Like I know my skill and I know what I can do, and I don't doubt myself ever. But you know, even like when someone says, "Oh, you've lost a follower," like that's fine. I've still got, you know, even if I'm just helping
I've
one
still
person.
got thousands of
Yeah, it's not even about. But like, it's like, why do you say that to me? Like, oh, you've lost a follower.
They actually say that?
Yeah, like
Who says that to you?
there's just
Like, is it
yeah.
people or
Is that through
companies?
in
What is it?
person or DMs?
It will be in my DM.
You know what happened? You know what happened? the
Who
other
cares?
day? I
It's
was,
because I can't reply, but I physically just can't reply.
I was following this
All the way
company.
spot on.
Yeah.
That I don't know how I followed. Must have been by accident. It's just this thing that they make a specific dessert. It's
Yeah.
the exact same dessert, and I'm the type that has like these 5 stories in a row that I like watching, and that's it. And I shut off Instagram.
Yeah.
So they always pop up first, and like, it got annoying. So I went in their page and I unfollowed
Yeah.
them. Like, it's the same dessert. I'm not interested, man. I'm a tradie. I don't
Yeah.
care about your desserts. Then they message me. They go, "Well, thank you very much for unfollowing."
Yeah,
They
it's
have
so
an
weird.
app.
They
They
take
have
it so
an app.
personally.
Yeah, they go, woo, I'm big and new for business. I don't reply. They go, yeah, not a problem at all, man.
But how did they know you unfollowed them?
I'll tell you
Some people have an app. Like I have
Yeah.
an app and it tells me who unfollows. If you let yourself get caught up on it, it becomes like addicting. Like every so often, I'll just go check it out. But
But who cares at the end of the
Yeah.
day?
You look at how you started your page, and you said that at the beginning of the show. You started it because it was a passion of yours, not
Yeah.
to be quote unquote.
yeah, I don't really
Instagram
care
famous.
if I like,
Yeah. And when you got to 100 followers, you were excited.
Yeah, it's like a milestone,
So
but it's
there's-
not something you need to like revolve your life around. I think a lot of people forget that if your Instagram gets deleted tomorrow, who are you? Like,
That's right.
are you really based on such a number? Like, I'm gonna still
Wow.
be a chef. I still know how to cook.
That's right.
That goes to you evolving,
Yeah.
having goals. Yeah.
So there's
So
an
now we're
actual
looking-
app.
We're looking forward to the Chef It Up book. It's
Yeah,
gonna-
it'll come.
Can we have a
I know-
short
I
sticks
know
version?
Yeah.
My wife, 100%, she's gonna get it.
Oh, my sisters will get it. Both of my sisters.
What about you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I'll let you have like 2 pages. We'll like some barbecue.
Can I have a barbecue section?
Your barbecue section.
Yeah. Look, on behalf of the short sticks, would like to thank you categorically and your husband as well, who facilitated all this. And
And we've got you a little something.
Thank you.
It's not a shun set, but it's
nowhere near
Not
shot.
close.
Thank you so much. Did you wrap it, Nora?
How did you know that it wasn't us?
Just so like the wrapping and so perfect.
That's how she knows it wasn't
Yeah.
us. But look, thank you so much for joining us on the
Thank you for
show
having me
today.
here.
It was great having the cook off with you. I'm sure all of us
For
enjoyed
sure.
it.
100%. It was fun.
And you have changed my perspective on cooking, I must say.
Thanks.
And you know
I
what
think
else?
my wife is very happy after
When you
today.
see someone in action, you get inspired. So when you see Chef personally in real life in action, and I think now I'm definitely going to shake the bowl.
I
shake
think
the
that
pan.
bowl was that
Olive
bowl
oil sprayed everywhere.
that bowl maneuver was on its own was
Yeah.
just mind-boggling for me.
And my mum will be very happy because the key word was, I can't work on a messy table. And I'm a very messy person.
You have to have it. Your outcome can't. It's like messy if you're in a messy kitchen. Like when I was cooking, if our like station was messy, we'd just get screamed at.
Wow.
Why is
In
it?
your
Yeah, you
profession,
have to
mean.
keep your section clean.
Well, you can never become a chef.
No, I won't. I'll just
you can. You just need to practice.
yeah. Thank you for the positive reinforcement.
He still hasn't cleaned his room yet.
Okay.
Oh no!
Well,
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our podcast. Again, thank you very much from the Short Sticks,
Thank you.
and hopefully we will see you again.
Yes, I'm sure we can work something out in the future.
The short sticks signing out.